Good day, everyone. Today we will be discussing Imagining a Nation. Introduction. Towards the end of the 19th century, the economic conditions in the Philippines had improved in such a way that it was possible for many Creole and mestizo families to send their sons to school, not only in Manila but also in Europe. The Filipino sojourn to the peninsula would awaken in their minds ideas about progress and love for their motherland. 19th century Spain was also going through several processes of change. Politically speaking, the Restoration put back into the place monarchy of Alfonso XII and established a constitutional monarchy with a bicameral legislature. Learning objectives. Recognize the important contribution and role of the propaganda movement. Identify competencies in distinguishing Rizal's involvement in the propaganda movement. Cite appreciation of explaining how propaganda works. Explain and discuss the vision that the propagandists had after experiencing freedom, prosperity, and relative peace in Europe. Lesson proper keywords. Cortes, the legislative of law-making body of the Spanish government. Krill, a Spanish born in the Philippines. Propaganda, information used to promote or publicize a particular cause of point of view. Círculo Hispano-Filipino. Earliest attempt to unite Filipinos studying in Spain was the formation of the Círculo Hispano-Filipino, under the leadership of Krill named Juan Atayde. They gained the support of the Spaniard who are sympathetic of Filipinos. Published a bi-weekly newspaper titled Revista del Círculo Hispano in 1882, but the newspaper and the organization itself were short-lived and lasted only 1883. Los Dos Mundos. Despite the demise of Revista del Círculo Filipino, the Filipinos in Spain continued to write and engage in journalism. In 1883, a periodical called Los Dos Mundos came out. It demands for the overseas Hispanic colonies equality of rights and opportunities for progress. Staff members are Graciano Lopez Haina, Pedro Govandes y Ascagaraga, Rizal, and Eduardo D. Lete are also contributors.
España y Filipinas began its publication through the support of Filipinos, Creoles and Mestizos in Madrid in 1887. It was short-lived as well because of glaring differences and internal feuding among its staff. By 1889, the Filipino community in Barcelona began preparation for the publication of a new periodical, La Solidaridad, supported and financed by Mariano Ponce and Pablo Rianzares. Graciano Lopez Haina offered his service as editor, joined by Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Its first issue was released February 15, 1889. Program is defined as to combat all reaction, to impede all retrogression, to applaud and accept every liberal idea, and to defend all progress. Among its reforms sought were Philippine representation in the courts, freedom of the press, end of the practice, and exiling residents without due process. Printed letters from foreign correspondents, all speaking of situation on the ground. Contributors are Rizal, Dominator Gomez, Jose Maria Panganiban, Antonio Luna, and Ferdinand Blumentritt. Persuasive techniques, otherwise known as propaganda techniques. A propaganda is information used to promote or publicize a particular cause or point of view. It is often constructed with the intention to manipulate or incite an audience into action. Because of its nature, there is an urgent and important need to determine what propaganda is before making informed choices. Who uses propaganda? Military, media, advertisers, politicians, you and I. Propaganda techniques. Bandwagon technique. It is a technique which is used to try and convince the consumer that everybody else is doing one thing, so they should be doing it too, so they are not different. This is an especially important technique today because people strive to be perfect more than ever.
Testimonial. The endorsement and testimonial technique is a very commonly used advertising technique in this modern day. It involves a well-known figure, athlete, actor, actress, artist, whom large quantities of people look up to or idolize, where they back up an assertion to try and make the consumer think that if they're doing it, I should too. Loaded words, also known as whistle words, are words that are very descriptive and filled with emotion. These words are used to capture the consumer's attentions and influence their actions. They can be used in both a positive and negative way and appear in all sorts of advertisements. Personal appeal, a propaganda technique used to sell you something based on how you believe the product will affect or improve your worth and self-image. It doesn't sell you on the actual quality or usefulness of the product. Glittering generalities, a technique that is intended to make you think positively about something. It does this by sending a positive slogan while at the same time not offering any support as to why this product or these persons will do something for you. You see this type of technique used a lot in political advertising.
Name calling, a technique used to bring a negative look towards someone or something, which is basically the exact opposite of glittering generalities. Like of glittering generalities technique, name calling doesn't offer support to back up. It's very often seen a political advertisement to make fun of your put down another candidate. Artificial dichotomy, claiming that they are only two sides of an issue event if in reality there are many sides. Misleading numbers. This technique is one that is widely used by politicians and in advertisements for various food products. It involves the advertiser using numbers or statistics that aren't always valid or are manipulated in various ways. The numbers presented aren't always pure lies. However, sometimes they are presented in certain ways which cause them to be interpreted differently than they should be. Plain folk appeals. A technique very commonly used in political advertising. It makes it appear that the candidate is a regular person just like everyone else and that they understand the common person because they are one. You will often see pictures of the candidate along with kids, animal, or other objects that make them seem like they are just a normal person like you and me. Fear. Using fear to convince people to believe in an idea. Example would include an insurance flyer or pamphlets showing pictures of houses destroyed by floods.